NYAB published its Q3 report today, and here with me is company CEO Johan Larsson to talk about the report and the outlook. Welcome, Johan.
Thank you, Aapeli.
So if we start with the past quarter, would you like to tell us how the Q3 went and what was the key takeaways from it?
Yeah, I will deem it as a solid quarter. I'm very happy with our performance, everything we can affect. I'm truly happy with that. Of course, the development on the Finnish side, Finnish market, excellent. Now it's more than a turnaround, and now they are the leader in profit. I'm of course pleased with the Swedish performance as well, but that was like more known and expected with the history and track record of that. So that's the main thing. Of course, in this quite challenging market, to have growth in Q3 in constant currencies and improved profitability. Of course, that goes back to the performance of the staff. Of course, I have nothing to do with that, fortunately. But yeah, that's the key takeaways, I would say.
Yeah. Now you specified your guidance and expect the revenue for 2023 to be at the lower end of the previous guidance range. At the same time, you kept the operating profit guidance unchanged. Could you elaborate what was behind the updated guidance? And on the other hand, what is the way to hit the upper bound of the operating profit guidance?
Yeah, I would say that, of course, the main factor, there are, of course, a lot of things that affect our margin, but the main factor, of course, is this slowness in the market that we communicated in our last interview with you, that we've seen, and we clearly see that of course have a 100% effect on revenue and a smaller effect on margin. So that bigger portion has just a small negative effect on margin, and that's why, of course, together with the excellent work and project execution for us overall, and that we have been cold in that way that we have won contracts without increasing risks and so on, and that are the main factors.
Okay. Then if we move to discuss more about the demand and start with the recent news. A couple of weeks ago, you published a significant agreement related to the construction of the Aurora Line in Sweden. The project is way larger than your typical ones, especially in Sweden. What does this deal mean to you? And due to the size of the project, is there something you need to pay special attention to?
Yeah, great question. To put it into context, it's a collaborative contract. We have earlier had contracts and have ongoing contracts in the size of like 65 to 70 million euros or something in that order. So it's not a significant jump. But of course, what's comforting with this contract is that we have a couple of agreements with the same client. We have reached a trust and a good cooperation with them. So we feel that it's very suitable for where we are going forward. It's also good from the perspective that there are other things happening in relation to this contract that, of course, gives us an edge and synergies and so on for further upcoming works. So it's great, and it's of importance, of course, especially when we have like a market that has been a bit stressed. It's very relaxing to have that, for us, a significant contract in our backlog. So
yeah. Then maybe if you look at the overall demand situation, have you seen any changes for better or worse in the latter part of the year, at least in the report, you said that you see still some delays.
Yeah.
Of course, the order intake wasn't that high in the Q3.
No, the order intake in Q3 wasn't that high. It was quite expected. We said that we see a slowness in the market. What has changed at the later part of the year is especially that public sector, public procurement has picked up their investment decision, which leads to contract. We have for the start of Q4 here we have quite good order intake. The Aurora Line put aside, and that's really what we see, and that is of course positive. I would also say that we see it in our ongoing frame agreements and perennial contracts that the order volume continues. I mean, there is underlying demand, things needs to be done in society and so on. So like it's easing up there. At the same time, of course, in the more investment private sector, I would say that it's still the same. There are some activities. It's not completely dead, not in any way. You've seen that we announced some contracts in Q3 that is a private client, but still, of course, they need to be more confident about that inflation is under control, and that like the top of the interest rates is there. It's not harder than that, really.
Yeah, but maybe some light positive signs are there right now.
Yeah, there are positive signs, but it's a bit too early to interpret them and say that now this is the real reality. But we can see for now short term that there are it's clearly positive in comparison to how it was. I mean, there is a great pipeline and a lot of tenders and bids and so on, but we still don't know if they will lead to contracts and investment decisions and so on. But I mean, the market is alive and the underlying demand is there. So for all we can see and what we know, we have reason to be positive. But
yeah, and maybe there we can go to the renewable energy market, and also referring to Skarta Energy. If we look the Finnish energy construction market, at least to my knowledge, the wind power market has stayed quiet during the autumn. But how is the solar power market?
Yeah, to be very specific, our Pelkene investment, we have project starts this month, this November, for a solar park, and there is activity in the solar market, but of course it's weak. It's the same fundamentals as wind, with of course some differences. And what I can say now is, of course, what I stated earlier, that there's like a 40-year horizon on investments, and I would say that we see, if we want to see positive and good signs there, I would say that I can see in our role NYAB as BOPs, since Skarta Energy is just a company of interest. But in BOPs as contractors, we see that there are a lot of activity and planned project starts for the later part of 2024, meaning that close to 1 year away, it seems to pick up now. But of course, the world is moving and right things must happen for that to materialize. So, but
yeah, I understand. Then if we move to the theme that we also covered last time, the M&A, and that as part of your growth strategy, I thought about asking, how is the M&A market looking right now from your perspective?
Yeah, good question. Of course, from the reason that we have officially stated that our aim, until we say something else, is 1 to 3 acquisitions a year. And also, of course, that in 2022, we did what IFRS reverses and deem as a reverse takeover of Skarta with a turnaround of Finnish business. And now this PowerForce acquisition that happened late 2022 or second part of 2022 at least. And that acquisition, of course, is the reason why we can win these multiple Aurora Line contracts. There are a couple of more than this announced one, which to me shows our industrial skill and knowledge and addressing the right market in the right time. And M&A is an important part of our identity as support in our growth journey. So with that said, the M&A market is interesting. There are interesting targets, and our focus is of course to do where we can make a difference with our industrial knowledge. So that's like all I can say for now about that. But,
let's wait and see if something happens.
Yeah.
Maybe lastly, you announced in September that you are proceeding with preparations for re-domiciliation to Sweden and that you are aiming for simultaneous listing to First North Sweden. Could you tell viewers the background of these decisions, and on the other hand, at what stage is the process going on at the moment?
Yeah, since I have some skin in the game, I'll answer it as a CEO. But that should be a great relief for other shareholders that I have some skin in the game. No, but of course, advisors had the board took in advisors to view what's the best marketplace for us with a quite good understanding of where we come from, who we are, and where we are going. And where it's optimal really to for the best interest of the shareholders. And of course, at the end there were two possibilities. It was either double listing, but that required that we were on the same list, of course, in both Finland and Sweden, or it was Stockholm, and eventually it was quite clear that most preferable for NYAB in this case was a listing in Sweden. That of course has to do with where we have our clients, biggest markets. Roughly, of course, the markets are different, but roughly the Swedish market is 600 to 700% bigger than the Finnish addressable market. That has some importance. And of course, it's just the mother company who gets a new domicile and gets listed. So it doesn't affect our prosperous business in Finland. That is still a key market for us and of great importance. So I would say that those are the backgrounds, and of course it's a question about like purchase power and trading venue volumes and so on that is preferable there. So that's the background, and in the end it was quite an easy and unsentimental decision for a unanimous board that includes both Finns and Swedes. So.
And at what stage is the process going on at the moment?
Yeah, it's hard for me to say really much more than what's communicated, of course, in this matter. We hope to come out with some legal decisions and bring clarity to the market and our shareholders before the end of this year, as we have stated. And the timeline is still during H1 2024. So that's the status.
Yeah. Thank you, Johan, for the interview, and good luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you very much, Aapeli.